10 Forbidden Techniques to Manipulate Someone. Disclaimer: the following content is for educational and awareness purposes only. Manipulation can cause harm to relationships, trust, and mental well-being. These techniques should never be used maliciously or unethically, but instead understood to protect yourself from being manipulated by others. 1. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most sinister forms of manipulation. It involves making someone doubt their perception, memory, or sanity. The manipulator repeatedly denies facts, twists reality, and accuses the victim of overreacting or imagining things. Phrases like "you're being too sensitive" or "that never happened" are commonly used. Over time, the victim starts to question their own reality and becomes dependent on the manipulator for validation, giving the manipulator complete control. 2. Emotional guilt tripping. Guilt tripping uses someone's sense of responsibility, loyalty, or morality against them. Manipulators make the other person feel bad for setting boundaries or not meeting their expectations. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me." The goal is to make the victim feel responsible for the manipulator's emotions, leading them to comply with demands out of guilt rather than genuine agreement. 3. Silent treatment. The silent treatment is a passive-aggressive manipulation technique where the manipulator withholds communication, affection, or attention to punish someone. By creating an emotional void, the manipulator forces the victim to feel anxious, desperate, and eager to fix the situation, even if they're not at fault. This tactic preys on the natural human desire for connection and resolution, making the victim submit to the manipulator's will. 4. Love bombing. Love bombing is an intense and overwhelming display of affection, flattery, and attention, often used to quickly build trust and emotional dependency. Manipulators shower their target with compliments, gifts, and promises to create an emotional high. Once the victim becomes attached, the manipulator withdraws affection, creating confusion and vulnerability. This cycle keeps the victim craving the initial love and willing to overlook toxic behavior. 5. Triangulation. Triangulation involves bringing a third party into a conflict or relationship to create tension, competition, or insecurity. The manipulator might compare you to someone else, say things like, "Why can't you be more like them?" or involve others to validate their perspective. This tactic is designed to make the victim feel inadequate, jealous, or pressured to perform better to gain the manipulator's approval. 6. Playing the victim card. Manipulators often position themselves as the victim to gain sympathy and avoid accountability. They may exaggerate or fabricate stories of being mistreated to make others feel sorry for them. By doing so, they deflect responsibility and make the real victim feel guilty for standing their ground. This tactic is highly effective because it preys on empathy and the human instinct to help those in distress. 7. Withholding information. Information withholding occurs when manipulators deliberately keep critical details from someone to maintain power or control over a situation. This tactic keeps the victim in the dark, confused, and dependent on the manipulator for clarity. In relationships, this can manifest as one partner keeping secrets, selectively sharing facts, or omitting key information to maintain an upper hand in decision-making. 8. Fear-based manipulation. This technique involves using fear as leverage to control someone's behavior. Manipulators might threaten consequences, create imaginary worst-case scenarios, or exploit someone's insecurities to keep them in line. For example, "If you leave me, you'll regret it forever." Fear triggers survival instincts, making the victim more likely to comply to avoid perceived danger or loss. 9. Intermittent reinforcement. Intermittent reinforcement is a psychological technique where rewards or positive behavior are given unpredictably. This creates an addictive cycle of hope and disappointment. For example, a manipulator might occasionally show affection or approval after prolonged periods of neglect. This unpredictability keeps the victim hooked, always chasing those fleeting moments of validation, and unable to break free from the cycle. 10. Overwhelming with logic, intellectual bullying. Sometimes, manipulators use overly complex arguments, technical jargon, or convoluted reasoning to confuse and overpower someone in a discussion. They may dismiss emotions entirely and focus solely on their version of facts to appear superior. By overwhelming the victim intellectually, they force them into silence or submission, making them feel unintelligent or incapable of forming valid opinions. Understanding these techniques is crucial, not to wield them, but to recognize them when they're being used against you. Awareness is your best defense against manipulation, and setting clear boundaries is your strongest weapon. Protect your mind, your emotions, and your peace. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.